Hello everybody and welcome to yet another random review. Today we are going to be talking about, and as I'm sure you guessed by the title of this video, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Now I've spent the past 10 weeks watching this series. It actually premiered the week after Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was moderately excited for it, and I watched the entire thing, as you've clearly seen here, and I just felt like I was doing myself a disservice by at least not getting a video out of these past 10 weeks. And here we are. The Mighty Ducks Game Changers follows Evan Morrow, played by Brady Noon, and his mom Alex, played by Lauren Graham. Evan is cut from the Ducks hockey team and decides to start his own team, the Don't Bothers, with a ragtag group of kids. And the place they find to play is at the Ice Palace, run by now grizzled former Ducks coach Gordon Bombay, reprised by Emilio Estevez. I'll pretty much leave the synopsis at that in case you did want to watch this series, but in case you don't, there will be a spoiler towards the end, but I'll make sure to let you know before I actually get into those details. In terms of acting, this show is very Disney. There's a fine layer of cheese throughout the entire series, and rarely does it feel like actual conversations people have, but more bubbly and dramatic depending on the tone of the episode and moment. Everyone does a fairly decent job, but the biggest standout for me was definitely Maxwell Simkis as Nick. This kid was the highlight of any episode, and although he was often the comic relief, he was also the most interesting character. He reminded me of a young Sean Astin, but his overall charisma and weird little things he would say were what made him so much fun. Now this next part is where I'm going to be talking about the story, and there's some spoilers and things that I need to get off my chest about this series, so if you haven't seen it, go ahead and skip to this time code right here, or you can just go ahead and binge watch the show and then come back. Either way, I appreciate you watching. For the majority of the 10-episode arc, it felt like the kids playing hockey and growing together wasn't the center story, but rather Lauren Graham's mom character was. I'm not sure if this was a safety or labor law situation, but I wish it would have followed the kids a bit more, especially as a group. And not just Evan, as there are plenty of interesting characters, they just need their time to shine. But perhaps the biggest thing that confused me wasn't how the Don't Bothers get to the state championship within one episode, rather than building it up over time, but rather it isn't until the finale that the title somewhat makes sense, that they play the Ducks in an unsanctioned game for the right to be called the Mighty Ducks. The entire show kind of puts that the Ducks were bullies, and that's how this whole thing started, and now after this new ragtag group wins, they get to be the Ducks. I see how it fits the narrative of an underdog or underduck story, but it's so insanely rushed they don't feel any kind of stakes, it just sort of happens out of the blue. And the Don't Bothers even use old Duck uniforms and somehow know the Flying V without ever being taught it, and by the end the Don't Bothers win, and they will be the new Mighty Ducks. If there is a second season of this show, I don't really know where they're going to go with it. I guess that the Don't Bothers, now the Mighty Ducks, are going to go back to the state championships but win it more outright as they had to forfeit due to one of the players being injured and not having enough kids. I guess that's the only place it can go. I mean, unless they do like D2 and have to play in like some sort of world championship. What I will say, however, is the mid-season episode of the former Ducks coming together was one of the biggest highlights. Sadly, some of my favorites weren't there, including Charlie, played by Joshua Jackson, or D2's Russ, played by Kenan Thompson, but who knows, maybe they will make a return if there's a season 2. Overall, the Mighty Ducks Game Changers left me feeling very middle of the road. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It's good enough that you can binge it over a weekend, despite it being 10 episodes that I kind of used 10 weeks to watch, but they're only half-hour episodes and they go by pretty quick for the most part. If you want to put it on background noise, I mean, it pretty much fills that void, but don't expect any massive growth of character from like the previous iteration of the Mighty Ducks, kind of like Cobra Kai. It's still very Disney. Don't go in with very high expectations. So those are essentially my thoughts on the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. If you have seen the series, let me know what your thoughts are, who your favorite character was down in the comment section down below, or if you did like it or didn't like it, let me know why in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos from me, as I have new content all the time. My weekly series revisiting the MCU is still ongoing as of the recording of this video, and that is a new episode every single Thursday, where at the end we're going to be ranking every single MCU movie from worst to best, so you don't want to miss out, and make sure to hit the subscribe button so you see that. Also, I'm on the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel where I have new videos all the time, reviewing Cruella, reviewing any sort of superhero stuff, Spider-Man trailers that may come out hopefully soon, things like that. So make sure to check out that and give them a subscribe. And you can also go to animatedapparelcompany.com and use the code Aaron20 to get 20% off your order for any of your awesome nerdy shirts from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, any of that cool stuff. Use my special code and you'll get a discount. Other than that, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.